Hello, everyone. I'm Jonathan Hinkle with Greenman-Pedersen Incorporated, or GPI, here to talk about the Lake Mattamuskeet restoration projects. Today's talk, we are going to discuss the background, the Fairfield LIDAR acquisition project, Pat Simmons wetland restoration project, Burris Canal drainage improvements project, and the connection to the Lake Mattamuskeet watershed restoration plan. A little background on GPI and myself. I've worked in the private consulting industry for multiple years, as well as public sector for NRCS, working on large wetland restoration projects in and around Hyde County, totaling about 45,000 acres of wetland restoration, and completed about 500,000 linear feet of stream restoration projects. GPI is roughly 2,000 employees east of the Mississippi. The territory that I'm responsible for is the Carolinas and the state of Florida. So the Fairfield Drainage District project was a LIDAR acquisition project. You see it on the screen by the roughly the magenta line, or that purplish looking line. That is not quite the Fairfield district based on that western boundary. It's actually foreshortened, but that's the area that we flew for the LIDAR acquisition to collect the LIDAR for the Pat Simmons project, the Fairfield district, and the Burris Canal project. LIDAR is a light detection and ranging. A plane flies at an altitude between 5,000 and 10,000 feet at a slow pace, and sends out a laser to sense the ground and get a reading. We then take ground control panels and targetry to calibrate that data set that we get to make sure that the data is correct, that the data is calibrated, and while we are flying, we also fly for aerial photography as well. So on the next slide, you will see the aerial photography data set that we collected in early February of 2023. So on the map, just so that I could get, or on the screen, just so that I could get everything up here, it appears to be extremely grainy. However, when you zoom in, you bring it into typical GIS software packages, AutoCAD, Esri, ArcGIS, MicroStation, those programs. It has really good quality, really good resolution, as you see on the screen here when we zoom in. The next project we're going to talk about is the Pat Simmons project. As you see on the screen here, the hatched or cross-hatched area is our focus area, but we're showing that red line as kind of the area of Mr. Simmons' property that we're looking at and improving the drainage, providing a connection that we can pump into this area from the lake. I will note that the red boundary is from Hyde County GIS. So on the eastern side, there is a slight discrepancy with land ownership there. It actually comes closer to the hatch boundary that you see on this side. Here we have a heat map. It's a product from the LIDAR acquisition. As you can see, the red dots that you see on the map, the red areas, are our lower elevations. Then we transition to a bluish color for our high elevations. When we move from the waterway to the lake, we go from a higher elevation down to a lower elevation, and then around Piney Woods or the lake, you see the rim of the lake come into effect, which creates a saddle. So next, I'm gonna click through a couple slides for what we took pictures around the project area, just so that everyone gets to see what we are looking at, what we are trying to accomplish. So here we have the canal that is between the landowners of Whitetail and the Simmons Tract. It is the northern boundary. Here we have the end of the canal. From this point, there's a switch from drainage districts. Looking in the direction of this photo, we are looking back towards back into the Simmons Tract, and what would be behind us would be the start of the Fairfield Drainage District. Here we have one of the Simmons Tract's pumps that goes underneath Piney Woods. So this is the potential project components. Again, this is in a draft state. We are working through the project components with the Coastal Federation, the landowners, NRCS, Hyde County, the Wildlife Refuge, and all have provided input into this project. So as it stands now, right now, we have 2 pump stations located within this project area. They are the circles with the X on them. We have 5 water control structures. Those are the blue dots. We have 6,500 linear feet of canal improvements. That is the orangish line work that you see kind of in the middle of the page here. We have 7,500 feet of sloughs. That is an area that we have a wide canal that is very shallow. What we use that for is to allow the water to spread from the or a connection from the middle property pump to the northern boundary pump, and that allows it to sheet flow. We want deeper areas. We want some shallow areas for mud flat, for residence time, for treatment, and to allow that water to spread into other portions of the tract. We also have roughly 36,000 linear feet of dock. Next, we're going to talk about the Burris Canal project. This is an aerial photo. The red boundary is showing roughly the project area and where we are looking at from a LiDAR standpoint, from the pumps can pull from this area. And we have to remember that when we have these drainage projects, the drainage district looks or acts as a bathtub. So when you're at sea level or below sea level, you're basically pumping water out of the bathtub. So even though that we've basically focused the area, and this is where it would have the most significant pull, there would be times that the pumps and the improvements would affect the larger drainage district. Here we have a similar as to the screen I showed you before of the elevation heat map from our LiDAR acquisition. The reds here again are our low areas. The blue are our higher areas. So here is the Burris Canal proper. Here is the Fairfield drainage boundary. Here is part of the Gold Rock game lands in this location. Excuse me. So we are looking to pump water out of the Burris Canal area onto the Gold Rock game lands. Here's some again, just to step through some photos. Here is the Burris Canal in this photo down here. Over here, this is photo point number 2. It's across the Fairfield dike. on the Wildlife Resource Commission property. Here we have the continuation of Burris Canal, but it appears that it was not dug to its design depth that you see across the dike. It's a little bit shallower, not quite as wide, but it's still going to have a good outlet for the proposed pumping activities. Here we have photos from along Burris Canal, one of your typical water control structures we see within Hyde County. And this is the culvert crossing at Burris Canal and New Lake Road. Again, just some additional photos of canals that will have water control structures placed on them to prevent water from, when we pump lake water into this, preventing that from spreading back into the ag land, as well as allowing us to manage the water and the agricultural producers to manage the water as they see fit. So the potential project components, we have one major pump station with 5 water control structures. The water control structures are shown by the green bullseyes, for the lack of a better term. The pump station is, again, the circle with the X through it. We have 4,500 linear feet of canal improvements and 17,000 feet of dike. After meeting with the Drainage Association, the county, and the commission, this project has gone through a couple of iterations as well. The yellowish greenish color is the dike improvements. We're looking at protecting the private property here between Gold Rock and Carter Canal. We're looking at improving the dike at the northern boundary of the Fairfield district. And again, here's those water control structures, as well as providing a good slough or a stable outlet for the pump, and then to allow that water to spread across the Gold Rock game lands. We met with the commission a couple weeks ago. We discovered that this tract had some dedications with natural heritage. We are stepping through that process to see how we can accurately and handle all the environmental concerns that natural heritage would have, North Carolina Land and Water Fund would have, as well as the commission would have. We want to make sure that we have good water quality that's being discharged across here, across the tract, and it improves and uptakes the water as it drains to the north to the waterway, and we do not want to degrade any of the existing uses and the natural forest there. Again, this project would look at taking and receiving water during non-emergency times from the lake into Burris Canal and allow that to be pumped, as well as it would provide improved drainage for the Fairfield district, which the county commissioners and the Fairfield district have told us, if we improve the drainage within the Fairfield district, the likelihood that a private landowner wants to pump into the lake is going to be diminished. Therefore, we're improving the lake water quality and lake by improving the Fairfield district. So just to point out the natural heritage, here we have an exhibit from the dedication document. So again, we're stepping through this, but I wanted to point out to everyone that the acquisition and the dedication did have the Hyde County Drainage District point, or the Burris Canal discharge point located within that original dedication. So it's a process. We're going to step through this process and work through it. So just wanted to talk about a connection to the lake and watershed restoration plan. Again, as I stated on the Burris Canal, this redirects drainage water away from the lake during non-emergency times. It allows for water to be discharged from the lake into the Fairfield district, into the Simmons Tract, and then be pumped to the north into the intercoastal waterway. Before going into the intercoastal waterway, it's in a receiving or in a sheet flow area, which improves water quality. You have some evapotranspiration that happens, reducing the total volume that the intercoastal waterway receives, gives the ability for us to fight the salt intrusion that we're seeing in Gold Rock. And lastly, it improves the potential drainage for the landowners within the Fairfield district. So the next steps are on the Pat Simmons project. We need to research that northern line, northern property line, to see exactly where that property line is. We need to continue modeling and conducting our pump sizing for infrastructure and finalize the design concepts. As I mentioned on the Burris Canal project, we're completing the H&H. We're working with the Wildlife Resource Commission and Natural Heritage for approval, and lastly, we just need to finalize the concept designs. I thank y'all for your time. And thank you for the opportunity to work with the county, the Coastal Federation, the landowners of Hyde County, and we greatly appreciate the partnership. Thank y'all very much.